Let us today discuss Moody method of testing optimality in transportation models. So, what we have discussed so far is finding the initial basic feasible solution of transportation model by northwest corner method, matrix minima method, and by Vogel's approximation method. And after the initial basic feasible solutions are obtained, we test for its optimality. And there are two methods for testing optimality. One is the stepping stone method and another is modified distribution method, which is commonly referred as Moody method. I have already informed you that it is always better to find the initial basic feasible solution by Vogel's approximation method, because this gives a solution which is very near to the optimal solution. So if you are finding out the initial basic feasible solution by VAM or Vogel's approximation method, this will be either an optimal solution at the first stage, or hardly in one or two steps you will get the optimal solution. Similarly, for testing the optimality, it is better to use Moody method, which we are going to discuss today, than stepping stone method, because stepping stone method requires tracing closed path for all the unoccupied cells, for all the non-basic cells. On the contrary, in the Moody method, the opportunity costs of all cells are calculated without having to trace their respective closed path. We trace only one closed path for most negative unoccupied cells. So there are different steps for using Moody method for testing optimality is that we convert the transportation cost matrix into UI and Vj. That is, rows are denoted by UIs, U1, U2, U3, and columns are denoted by Vj, V1, V2, V3. Some people also write R1 for rows, R1, R2, R3, and columns K1, K2, K3. So it is for you to decide which notation you are going to use. But here, the most commonly used convention of denoting rows by U and columns by V has been used. So we consider UI for I is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to M, and Vj where J is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to N. So these are the rows and columns. So we write U1, U2, U3 for all the rows and V1, V2, V3 for all the columns of the transportation cost matrix. Then we see the basic cells. Basic cells means occupied cells where some allocations have been made. So we see that the number of basic cells in the initial basic feasible solution must be equal to m plus n minus 1. If it is equal to m plus n minus 1, we go to stage 4. Otherwise, we go to step 3. What is step 3? That in any case, we cannot proceed until the number of occupied cells is equal to m plus n minus 1. So, if the number of occupied cells is less than m plus n minus 1, then we make it equal to m plus minus 1 by making and in finite system only a small allocation, say epsilon, in some of the unoccupied cells, while taking care that there is no closed loop formation with the inclusion of these new basic cells. In fact, when the number of occupied cells is less than m plus n minus 1, this problem is said to be degenerate, and degeneracy we are going to study in details in the next class. So here we consider that number of occupied cells is exactly equal to m plus n minus 1. So we consider the step 4. So what is the step 4? That we compute the value of all ui, u1, u2, um, and v1, v2, vn by applying the formula ui plus vj is equal to cij. To start with, we consider either one value of ui or one value of vj equal to 0. So say we consider u1 is equal to 0. And then we calculate the values. First, let me explain to you the steps, and then I will explain it through one numerical example, numerical problem. Then we calculate the penalties delta ij for the non-basic cells using the formula delta ij is equal to cij minus ui plus vj. Cij minus ui plus vj. So this is the penalty that if you are not allocating some quantity there in any non-basic cell, in any unoccupied cell, the penalty which we have to bear is calculated by this formula. And if this penalty is greater than equal to 0, is greater than 0, then current basic feasible solution is the optimal one. What does it mean? That if penalty is more than 0, it means if any allocation is made, then it is going to increase the cost, because you are considering the minimization problem in transportation where the cost has to be minimized, and this incremental cost is positive. It means you are going to lose in the further iteration if you are making any allocation in the any of the unoccupied cells. But if delta ij is equal to 0, then your current basic feasible solution remains unaffected and alternate solution exists. But if delta ij is less than equal to 0, then an improvement in the solution is possible, and then we go to step 7. Okay. So what is step 7? Identify the non-basic cell which has the maximum negative penalty, or term that cell as the new basic cell. Obviously, where the penalty is maximum. Maximum negative means where there is likely to be most advantageous position. So that we consider that new basic cell. From starting from that new basic cell, we draw a closed loop consisting of only horizontal and vertical lines passing through some occupied cells. So I have already told you at the beginning of the lecture that here in this case we trace only one closed path for most negative unoccupied cell. Whereas in the stepping stone method, we were required to trace the closed loop for all unoccupied cells. So that was a very clumsy process, very lengthy process. Here, on the contrary, we only calculate the value of ui and vj, and wherever the value is most negative, we trace a closed path for that particular unoccupied cell only. Then, like stepping stone method, we start from this new basic cell and alternatively assign positive and negative signs at all the corner points, means all the points where the direction has been changed. Then identify the minimum of the allocations made amongst the negatively signed cells. Obtain the table for the next iteration by doing the steps. What steps? Add the minimum allocation obtained in the previous step to all the positively signed cells and subtract this minimum allocation from all the negatively signed cells and treat the net allocations as the allocations in the corresponding cells of the next iteration. Copy these allocations which are on the closed loop but not at the corner points, means where the directions has been changed of the closed loop, as well as the allocations which are not on the loop as such without any modification to the corresponding cells of the next iteration. If the optimality is reached, consider that all allocations as the optimal allocations. Otherwise, we repeat the process till the optimality is reached. Now we explain you this method by this example. Say these are the warehouses W1, W2, W3, W4, and these are the factories F1, F2, F3, F4. Factory F1 has a capacity of 140, F2 has a capacity of 260, F3 has a capacity of 360, and F4 has 220. So total supply available is 900. Requirement of the warehouse W1 is 200, W2 is 320, this is 260 for W3 and 210 is for W4. So this also totals to 900. So total supply is equal to total demand. So this is a balanced transportation problem. Now we first obtain the initial basic feasible solution by applying Vogel's approximation method, BAM. So what we do, we find for each row and each column the difference between the least and next to least cost. That is the opportunity cost or the penalty. So in the first row, what we see, the least cost is 48 and next this is 48 and next least cost is 58. So the difference is 10. So we write the difference 10. Second row, it is 45 and 53. So difference is 8. Third row, 50 and 60. So difference is 10. Fourth row, it is difference is between what? 61 and 64. So this is 3. Similarly, in the first column, we have a difference of 45 and 48 is 3. 55 and 60 it is 5. 53 and 55 it is 2. And 58 and 60 it is 2. So the maximum penalty is in F2 row. The value is 10. So we make maximum allocation here. So this maximum will be minimum of these two, supply or demand. So the supply is 260, demand is 320. So we cannot supply more than 260 here, so we supply 260. So what happens? Now this capacity exhausted, so this capacity will now reduce to 0. So F2 can no longer supply to any other warehouses. So this row is deleted. Now we have only 3 rows, F1 row, F3 row, and F4 rows, but your columns are still there, W1, W2, W3, W4. And this requirement 320 reduces to 260. You have already supplied, so this will reduce to 60 only. In the next case, you again calculate column wise difference. So this row is not there. So now difference is between 45 and 50. So this is 5. Here it is 60 and 65. So this is 4. This is 55 and this F2 is not there. So this is 56, 58 and 60. This is 2. And here it is 61 and 62. This is 1. Similarly, for the row, we are calculating the differences. So again, we find that 10 is the maximum penalty. You see, for each row and each column, we calculate the difference between the least cost and the next to least cost. And again, we find that 10 is the maximum value of the penalty or this difference. So this is against row F3. So again, we make maximum possible allocation. Requirement is here 260, 200. Supply available here is 360. This row. So here, where is the minimum cost? Minimum cost is here. This one. So this minimum cost is this. So here we make maximum allocation. Requirement is 250. And this is 360. So we make an allocation of 240 here. And then this 120 is reduced. So this 60 and 60 make next iteration. So likewise, if we make all the allocations, we will find that the initial basic feasible solution is this one. This is the initial basic feasible solution. You solve it yourself, then you will get the solution. I have explained you the method. So what is the initial cost? Initial cost is 48. Initial cost of transportation is 48. From factory 1 to the warehouse 1, 48 units are 140 units are transported at a cost of 48 per unit. So cost is 48 into 140. In here it is 55 into 260. See here, 48 into 140, 55 into 260. Similarly, 50 into 60 plus 65 into 60 plus 60 into 240. Likewise, all allocations are made, and the cost, initial transportation cost is 55,680. Now we do the optimality test by using Modi method. So there are 4 rows and 4 columns here. 1, 2, 3, 4 rows and 4 columns. So m plus n minus 1 is equal to 4 plus 4 minus 1 is equal to 7. So your problem is non-degenerate. So you can proceed for obtaining optimal solution. So we consider first row as U1, second row U2, third row U3, fourth row U4, and first column V1, second column V2, third column V3, and fourth column V4. We start with U1 is equal to 0. So U1 plus V1 is equal to 48. So V1 is equal to 48. So C1 is equal to U1 plus V1. So U1 plus V1 is equal to 48. So U1 is equal to 0. So V1 is equal to 48. So you have got the value of V1. So you can find out the value of U2. U2 plus V1 is equal to 45. V1 we have already got as 48. So this will be equal to minus 3. So now you have got the value of this minus 3. So for occupied cell, you start only with the occupied cell. So U1 plus V1 for occupied cells only it will be 48. So U1 is equal to 0. So V1 is equal to 48. Now come to here U3. U3 plus V1 is equal to 60. U3 plus V1 is equal to 50 actually. So what happens? This is 50. So V1 is equal to 48. So U3 will be equal to U3 plus 48 is equal to 50. So U3 is equal to 2. U3 is equal to 2. So you got the value of U1 and U3. Now you got the value of U1 and V1 also, U3 also. So you know the value of U3, so you can find the value of V2. How? U3 is equal to 2, V3, U3 plus V3 is equal to 65. So V3 will be equal to 2 plus 63 is equal to 65. So V2 will be equal to 63. See, V2 is equal to 63. Similarly, we calculate all the values U2, V2, then we get U2 is equal to minus 8, V2 is equal to 63, V3 is equal to 58, U4 is equal to minus 3, and V4 is equal to 64. So we have calculated the value of all U1 and V1 from using the formula U1 plus V1 is equal to C1 for all the occupied cells. Now we compute the opportunity cost delta Ij for every unoccupied cell. So for every unoccupied cell, this will be delta Ij, delta 1, 2 is equal to Cj minus Ui plus Vj. So 60 minus 0 plus 63. Say for U1 V2, see here for U1 V2, U1 V2, this U1 V2, this cell. So this cell opportunity cost will be what? 60 minus 0 plus 63. U1 is equal to 0, V2 is equal to 63. So 0 minus 63. So 60 minus 63, 0 minus 3. So likewise, you calculate this. So what is the most negative? Most negative is U1 V4. This cell is the most negative. So the most negative opportunity cost is U1 V4. So we have to make a closed loop path which begins from U1 V4 from this cell and ends at this cell, and make positive and negative adjustment in the assigned cell like this. U1 V4, U1 V4. So we start from here, go here, change the direction here, come here, and then we again go here. So you know that you can change the direction only at the occupied cells and only in 90-degree direction. So U1 V4 was this. So we take this as positive, then this will be negative, this will be positive, this will be negative, this will be positive, this will be negative. So now we select the cell which is negative sign and list number of units there. So the cell which has negative sign and with list number of units. So see which are the negative cells. This one, negative signs is this one, and then negative sign is here, this one, another is this one. So 3 negative signs. At this allocation is 140, at this point the allocation is 240, and at this point the allocation is 210. So minimum of this is 140. So 140 will be reduced from here, and that will be added at all positive points. Wherever positive is marked, we shall add it. So the new table, new allocations will be changed, and for the new allocations, we again calculate the UI Vj value. So when we calculate the UI Vj value, and again opportunity cost is calculated. So opportunity cost is again calculated, and delta Ij, that is the opportunity cost for non-occupied cells. So we find that here all values are positive except U1, V2, this is negative. So we again draw a closed loop from U1, V2. So this is U1, V2. From here we start, this will be positive. Then we go here, negative. This will be positive, this will be negative. So what is the minimum quantity in negative value? This is 60, this is 70, this is 140. So this 60 will be reduced. So 60 will be added to the positive cells and reduced from every negative cells. So the new allocations is this. This 60 has disappeared, and say it this 60 has disappeared. So what happens? This 260 has become, see here, this 60 has gone here, this 60 has disappeared, then this 70 has become 130, and this 140 has become 80. So this is the new allocation. For this new allocations, the cost is 54,500. Again, we calculate whether m plus n minus 1 is equal to 7 or not, because all occupied cells we have to count, and then we have to ensure that this m plus n minus 1 must be 7. So we find that still there are 7 occupied cells. So this condition is met. Therefore, we again test the optimality by calculating the value of V1 and V1. And we find now in the next iteration that all the values are either 0 or positive. So this optimality has been reached, and this is the final solution. So this final solution is 54,500 rupees. So this is the optimal solution, and this is how we calculate the optimal solution by applying Modi method. So in the next class, we shall discuss some more cases, degenerate solutions, maximization problem, etc. So we end this session here.